Hello, dear viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today for this reading about what does your internal wisdom and the wisdom of Source bring to you regarding this holiday season, whichever holidays you celebrate. So I'm going to ask you to choose a stone that draws you, the one your gut would pick, and we'll begin. We'll ask your intuition. We'll ask your higher self to light up the meaning and take from the interpretation what fits for you, what you've been hearing inside. All right. For those of you who chose this blue Lapis Lazuli, a very spiritual card, we have the Six of Wands from the Arcanum deck. We have the Two of Swords from the Steampunk Tarot deck. We have, from this mini Rider-Waite, the Death card. And we have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, I see this. And from the Light Seers Tarot, we have the High Priestess. Wonderful. Wonderful. Oh my goodness. Marvelous. And your plant is the calendula. The proper pronunciation is calendula. The calendula. It is symbolic of warmth, improved communication, actually. Sometimes best wishes for a married couple in India for fertility and a good life. Interesting. Sunshine and fire. Ooh, sunshine and fire and warmth. That's a lovely plant to choose. All right, let's look at your reading pile number one. When I was, wow, interesting. Very interesting. When I was choosing these cards, I got an understanding. I got a flash that the death card might be the end of this overburdening stuff. So the Death card and the High Priestess together as your major arcana are amazing. It means you have a knowing deep inside about what is ending, what you're done with, what's time to end. There are a few of you out there who over the holidays may be seeing a loved one where people in the family are saying things like, this may be their last holiday season, you know? And if you have a gut instinct, a knowing that perhaps that's true, that this may be their last holiday season or the last one where they can meaningfully participate, you also know then that their life has become too burdensome. You also know then that things have been very difficult, not just one health problem, but many. You also know that too. This may be a very significant, with warmth and love, and a victory too, you know, sort of celebrating this person. For a few of you, for some of you. For many of you, this High Priestess, this knowing about something ending is just something that you believe it's time for that to be done. And it's okay, it really is time for it to be done with the Ten of Wands. Maybe that is, and you've done it well. You've done it well. Maybe that is, you have a decision to be made perhaps about it, but maybe that is sort of doing the holidays in the way you have been doing them. It's time for that to be done. Maybe there's a reason. Maybe you've done that. You've done it well. Maybe it's time for something new, a new dynamic. Maybe it is a little difficult to make a decision around your holidays right now. It's okay though. Your intuition will definitely give you the answer. And if something internally feels this is done, you know, there's no life associated with one of these choices, then you honor that. And not to see it as, if there's something that is done about the way you do the holidays, it's not a tragedy. It's sort of like it's just time. You want it to be joyful, and warm and loving, right? With good communication and sunny. You want it to be lovely like that, not burdensome, not burdensome. And it's okay to say, okay, I've done a good job at the other. Now it's time. This is a lot about joy and receiving and right. If there's anything you do for others during the holidays, it's probably the warm communication. It's probably the most important thing, not anything you do, not the doing. So there might be something like that for some of you, this sort of a, okay, now it's time. And it may present itself in the form of a decision to be made. Do I go here? Do I not go here? Do I make all these efforts to do this? Or do I simplify or even skip it? What do I do this year? Well, your intuition is going to be telling you, and all you need to do is ask yourself, what is overburdening? What just feels like it brings death, not life? What option should I be saying no to? Or should I be saying, okay, but it's going to be different? And trust your ability to very warmly communicate that, to very warmly. But, there's some sunshine and fire in that calendula too, where it's sort of like, it's not hedging. Somebody communicating in this fashion is not hedging. They are being very forthright. But I just see a smile on the face, Sometimes it takes a lot of fire to be warm with people, especially if they're people we haven't seen a lot, or there's people that there are unresolved, who knows? They may feel like they have some unresolved issues with us or with the past, or sometimes have you been in a room where somebody with spiritual maturity walks in and just brings that warmth and that directness, and it's just as clear as day. It's like the sun has come out, and of course this is the right way, of course. So really, you may be that person with this high priestess, this wisdom, this spiritual insight and sustenance, and this knowing also about this sort of like being guided to have the communication that will work well with others, understanding how others may perceive that. A real victory here. If you have any kind of difficult conversation to have, it will be a victory. It really will. And I think your focus really does need to be on laying down some of the overburden. You can't be responsible for how anybody else hears this. But I just have a feeling like your love and your light is going to be obvious, at least to most. Very interesting. I'm just looking at these cards to see if there's another meaning that could also apply. Sometimes when I'm doing readings about the holidays, different cards can represent different people involved in your holidays as well. And that is okay. That is okay. Somebody with a victory, somebody with a decision to be made, but doesn't need to make it right now. Maybe that's all they need to hear. Somebody who's overburdened, who's worrying too much, carrying too much. And it's time for that to be done. Yes, but I do love about the warmth, the fire, the sun in the communication. I do love that. All right. Well, I sure hope this is helpful to you and that hit on some things. Pile number 1. Okay. For those of you who chose this shiny stone, this metallic, interesting kind of stone, we have, with the light Seers Tarot, we have the 7 of Cups. We have The Fool. There's a major arcana from the Steampunk Tarot. From the Arcanum Tarot, we have the Eight of Cups. From this little mini Rider-Waite, we have the Queen of Wands, and we have the Justice card. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, there's your major arcana with the Fool and the Justice card. Interesting. Your plant is Mackay berry. Interesting. It turns out this is pronounced maki berry. I'm learning as you all are. And many of you really are experts on plants. And so I do love to see the comments in the comment section about them. So the maki berry, the superfruit, great antioxidant, great for cholesterol levels, very nutritious, great for fighting free radicals then. And it has been known spiritually in Chile for strength and renewal. Strength and renewal. It's intense. It has intense nutrients. 10 times those of blackberries. Interesting. So the maki berry, this is an intense, powerful, healing kind and protective then kind of fruit. Strength and renewal. All right, interesting. Now your major arcana here is the Fool. Well, that makes sense to me. That fits quite well there. And Justice. All right. So the Fool, of course, the strength of youth, the strength for a new beginning, the strength for a new evolution, a new phase in your journey where you are invigorated, where something that has been unjust or out of balance is brought in balance, and you see, you're just kind of fiery anyway. This makes sense with the intensity of this fruit. You can, of course, you've matured, but you can really pursue with direction and purpose your end goals. What's most important to you? There's some mystery here, though. I always like the black cat with the Queen of Wands and the Rider-Waite. It really goes with this Eight of Cups, you know, and her seeking the answers from the moon, from her own intuition, from source, from the greater consciousness. Taking some time to do that. You know, the Fool wanders, she wanders. But they're not wandering away from anything. They're wandering, they're beginning a journey of self-exploration, really understanding. And they're communing, it's not just with their own logic. No, no, no. This is about their own spirit. This is about their higher self. This is about source energy. This is about guides. This is about angels. This is about, although we don't have angels here, but you know, this is about the knowledge that's in the greater consciousness. So your intuition might be quite good, and there may be something that is brewing that will reestablish some justice in your life, some fairness. Very interesting. But look at all of the lack of specificity here, right? I mean, if you're looking for concrete answers about what this is going to be, man, they're just not here right now. I think this is about, because we have the Seven of Cups, right? And we sometimes have a little confusion with that. But guess what? If you're looking down and you're holding your chin like that at the different possibilities, at, well, is it good? Is it bad? Is it blessings? And what is coming in? You're going to get confused if you look up, if you look within, if you look at if you look at what your spirit is saying for the next step. All you need is the next step. This Fool, he doesn't have any idea where he's going. In fact, in the Rider-Waite, he's jumping off a cliff. He's just like, I am hopeful. I know this is going to be good. And the Seven of Cups is always encouraging us to build castles in the air instead of dread, instead of, oh, what about this? What if that happens? What if this shoe drops? No, no, no. build the castles in the air. Take that uncertainty and look within. There's something good that will reestablish some justice for you. And certainly invigorate you with the Queen of Wands and the Maki Berry. Certainly invigorate you. Yes. Maybe there are some answers to be sought. If you separate yourself out and take time to be with what you feel, be with what is, be with the spiritual plane, your higher self, be your higher self, not think. You know, those cups have nothing to do with thinking. Not to say that thoughts that are very interesting and inspired may come to you. That might happen. But the point is, the energy isn't going into the reasoning things out and figuring things out. The energy is going into the being, into the letting you expand into your higher self, into knowing and feeling that your soul expands far beyond the borders of your own body. That's what brings it. And this energy with the Queen of Wands, you have tended to be able to pursue that which is important to you. You have tended to be able to do that with purpose and even fire when necessary. And that Fool is like new energy coming in. Because now the Queen of Wands, that's mature energy. Whether you're male or female, doesn't matter. Remember, gender is interchangeable in tarot. The Fool energy is almost like new energy kind of sneaking up on in there, beckoning. Yeah, and you might not know exactly where this new chapter is taking you, but definitely this is, yeah, definitely. It's about your intuition. It's about being true to what your heart, your emotions are telling you. It's about finding direction from within, moment by moment, and trusting that there are some really powerful things happening in your life, bringing in a new beginning, and it will involve greater fairness and balance. For some of you, there is an issue with the justice system. Or there's a social justice issue, a social injustice. And you don't quite know. It can be too tempting to worry about the worst. It can be too tempting. Remember the Seven of Cups and the Rider-Waite, where one cup has a blanket over it and you don't know what's under it? You know, another cup has, there's the snake. Is that good or bad? In some traditions, the snake is shrewdness and wisdom. You know, so it's sort of like, and then there are jewels in the cups, and there's love in the cups, and there's all kinds of symbols in these cups. And there may be a situation where you're tempted to fear the worst, but you should not. This is a time where your spirit is going to grow. Go within. Spend time with yourself. Spend time in your being, in your higher self, in the self that can rely upon source energy for courage, comfort, soothing, strength. Yes, something good is coming in, but I feel like Source is giving you a big shot of intense energy, which is healing and protective of your health and well-being. Excellent. Oh, interesting. Great set of cards for this great set of cards for all of you. Pile number 2. Okay. For those of you who chose this turquoise howlite, pile number 3, we have from the Arcanum deck, we have the 7 of Swords. We have the Knight of Cups from the Steampunk deck. From the Light Seers Tarot, we have the 4 of Cups from Light Seers Tarot. You know, there's so many ways to pronounce tarot. In the US, it's tarot. In Europe, it's tarot. Some believe it's tarot, but I I don't know that. But you know how that goes with language. If enough pronounce it that way, it becomes a valid pronunciation, just like tarot became a valid pronunciation from tarot. So anyway, that's an aside. We have the Four of Wands, and we have the Ace of Swords from your Rider-Waite. And let us see then, maybe I'll spread them out a little differently, what your plant is for what to know for this holiday season. We have the burdock. We had the burdock not that long ago in one of these readings. And the burdock has long been known as a magical plant with magical properties for cleansing, protection, warding off any danger, warding off any negative thoughts or, even mal wishes, even bad wishes on you, warding that off. Very powerful plant. So that's very interesting that we ask about the holidays and this is the plant you get. I don't know where there may be somebody who is judgy toward you or holds a grudge or does not wish you well or is somehow a threat to you. There may be somebody in your life who is that, and especially with that Seven of Swords. Or there's something in the situation that is worrisome. There's something in your life, there's something in a situation that's worrisome. And you need protection, and you need source to keep you entirely safe, to fight for you almost. See, now the burdock would come up if, say, you knew somebody who has been judgmental of you or who has been angry or wished ill upon you. And this holiday season, it ends up coming back on them. It ends up, this is a time when the judgment they have dished out, they have to now swallow. That's the thing about being really judgmental of others or gossiping a lot about others or, and everybody does it at some time. This is a human experience. Maybe we judge because we don't want to go down that path ourselves. Maybe that's our way of warning ourselves not to do it or reassuring ourselves we wouldn't do that. But the thing about it is that judgment, it haunts us then if we have some of the same failings or problems or troubles. And then it can really burn. It can burn us twice. We can get burnt by the problem and then by the remembering how judgmental we are. And we can't help but judge ourselves much worse then. So this is a very human experience. But I think pile number 3, this is not about your judgment of others. This is about maybe somebody is judgmental toward you or has been condemning. Because this burdock here is protective of you. It's definitely protective of you. And it's about warding off anything. So it's kind of nice if there's somebody that might have be kind of manipulative or have a secret plan or they want to take more than their fair share. Or there's something going on that, man, you wish you could hear all these conversations because you just know some things are going on behind the scenes. Guess what? It doesn't matter because obviously you have protection over you. It's not going to work out the way that person wants it to work. You are going to have a lovely holiday, or you may be shown to be of good character. It may become obvious to everybody that you've done something that's impressive, that is valued. And I almost feel like this is saying, don't worry about if you have anybody in your family or your community, your group that could be like that, maybe at work even. Don't worry about that because that's taken care of. Instead, you are being given inspiration, revelation. Ooh, there's probably a guide talking to you about exactly what this is. And you need not fear. Absolutely not. In fact, this is sort of like, even though there may be temptation to feel very dissatisfied with what you have been hearing or messages you have gotten, which is understandable. Remember, in the Rider Waite, there's a cup coming in over her shoulder that's upright, that's coming from Source, like this sword is coming from Source, that's saying, I have good news though. I have good news. And then this Knight of Cups is also like that. It's sort of like, there's good news. You bring good cheer. You bring good cheer, and good news is coming for you. And this Four of Wands is lovely. It tells me that if you have any kind of gathering or get together, it goes much better than you would imagine. It's nice. It's pleasant. So if there's anybody manipulative or right, they've got some sort of hidden agenda. And that's even, this Knight of Cups could even be representative of that person. They look good, but that's they're not sharing everything. They've got some sneaky stuff in the background here. Could even be that person or persons. Well, it's none of it's going to fall back on you. Yep. Even if it is a pain with this Four of Cups. I mean, it might be distressing. It's not fun, right? But Source is saying, but I'm bringing you a new cup. I'm bringing you a new message that is really wonderful. That is really going to make you happy. Please hear it. I'm going to help you see things in a whole new way. That's going to make it much, much nicer. It's like that. Oh, yes. So many different meanings for this Knight of Cups. This Knight of Cups can also be a suitor. This Knight of Cups can also be somebody who goes out of their way to bring a good message to you or to reach out to you, to try to be welcoming or more than that. So that's interesting too. Just somebody who is glad to see you, lets you know that. So you've got an interesting reading here. I see all kinds of opportunity from Source. I see protection from Source. I see strength, potency, absolutely in you. And I see a nice time here. Interesting. So I really love this reading for you, pile number 3. Thank you so much. Wonderful. Well, you have wonderful holidays, everybody. Thank you for watching, and take care.